Welcome back, guys. In the next part of this book, The Mastery of Destiny, we are discussing about the law of cause and effect, the law of justice that runs the world. No one can go above that. According to the writer, humans or gods cannot defy that law. Everyone is under that law. Humans or gods. Everyone has to defy or go underneath that law. Every cause has an effect. We can control the cause and see the results, but all the results are justifiable. They follow the law of justice. You cannot deny that law. Means the world is run by justice. A lot of us, we are irrational and we do not see that, and we argue that there is no justice in the world. But according to the writer, the knowledge he is giving, that this world is run by justice. Neither gods, neither humans cannot go beyond that law. So please subscribe to understand the knowledge in depth, but please do not subscribe if you don't want to learn more and move forward. Let's deep dive into it. Thank you very much. In the next part, let's see what the writer is saying. The writer says, man, that I call a superhuman always, the man has all the power in the world, but his power is ended as soon as the acts are committed. Whatever we do, as I say, that it is in our control. We can make the things happen, and everything that happens comes from our mind first, and then it materializes. But the power it is giving to us, it's ended once we give it a materialistic form. Means once we perform a act, that is done. No more power is with us. Then the law of the justice means the law of the nature that will decide what should be the cause and effect of that cause. What is the output of that action committed? So what he further says, that the presence of doubt and unhappiness and fear in our thoughts and in our body, in our self, is the indication that right path is not found yet. We as human beings have not found the right path. If there is any doubts, unhappiness, unforgiveness, or any kind of negative emotion is found within us, that means we are still not reached the path of righteousness. We have not found the right path yet. To reach that level, we have to get rid of all these things from our body, means from our self, inner self. The next part he says, each individual suffers result of its own deeds, but not others. Why? It's a very simple line. He's saying each individual suffers the results of his own deeds. And most of you will say that, okay, yeah, I understand. Then why do we believe that we have to blame others for things? That's the part you have to understand. Why do we start blaming other people? Why do we start complaining to others and about others? Why do we do that? If we already understand that we're going to reap whatever we're sowing, whatever we're doing, whatever we're committing, we're going to get the results of those acts, then why are we blaming others? Why we start being a baby, like we don't understand anything? We understand, but we don't want to implement on ourselves. That's the tragedy we are facing, because we don't want to self-criticize ourselves. Let's move forward and see how he helps us to remove these fears and doubts from life. Very beautiful line. Effects can never be divorced from his effects. Beautiful word, but it can never be divorced, mean it cannot be separated from the effects. The effects that we're going to have, these are the result of our deeds. Whatever actions we're going to perform, they are intermingled. So we cannot say that we act in a certain way and we're getting the result in a certain way. We cannot do that. We have to be ready to understand and to accept the results for what we do. If I am doing this good deed for you people and for myself as well, I have to be ready to get the results. I should be expecting, if I am doing it with full positive power and energy. But if I'm having doubts and some confusion in that act, I should not be getting the result what I'm expecting. So let's move forward and put that to practical. The next chapter is about training your will. Again, coming back to the same point all over. I believe so when I'm done with my 100 books, still I'll be talking about will. That's what I have read about till now, about so many authors till now. For you people still finding the same thing, will. Do we have the will, or will we ever get to that point where we learn to just command our will? Let's see forward. Let's see that. So man cannot be strong and weak at the same point. What he's saying, you cannot be strong and weak at the same time. You have to choose one side. Either you are this or that. So, but the beautiful thing is, whatever you want to be deciding for yourself, either being weak or stronger in your willpower. When we say about weak or stronger, it does not mean about the physical labor that we have to do, or muscle wise we have to be stronger or weak. No, the only thing he's saying, in terms of our willpower, we have to choose, and we can be stronger by defeating our weak side. How do we do that? That's the next part. He will teach us in this lecture that how do we beat the weaker side of us. But we can do that. And he says both the powers are within us. Either we decide to be weak or we decide to be stronger. Both the powers are within us, within the human nature. So we have to see inside us, realize that power, and then become the superhuman. But let's see what are the steps given by the writer. You have to follow those steps. Let's move into that. 7 rules. He's giving 7 rules to cultivate your will to the highest level. 7 rules, and I will read that from my beautiful handwriting here. These 7 rules for you. I want to read them word by word. That's why I'm going to be looking on this beautiful handwriting again and again. So let's go into this one. I don't want to miss any point. That's why I'm going to be reading as word to word. So what he says, the number 1 rule is break off bad habits. The previous book that we have discussed is how to break your bad habits. That's the first thing. We have to get rid of our bad habits. There is a book coming up as well in the near future. I'm going to be doing the podcast on that how and what steps can be done on breaking our bad habits. Second part, he's saying form good habits. It's not only about breaking bad habits. We have to side by side cultivate good habits. We have to replace them with something as well. Not only giving a void in our personality. What's the benefit of that? Obviously, we'll be getting rid of bad habits, but we have to fill out the gap. With what? With the good habits. Now, the number 3 point he's saying, give surplus attention to duty of present moment. Whatever you're doing right now, give a proper attention to those tasks, those moments, what you want to achieve in this moment. If I am working this for you, I have to focus my energy on you, on this task, by giving this knowledge to you properly, not half-heartedly, not with half attention. That is why a lot of time people say to me, why you get so emotional when you are telling us on the video? They don't understand. I'm doing it with heart. I'm not pretending. I never written a script on this podcast. Never, ever. From the very first video, I've never written a single thing. That's why all the mistakes are in there. I don't care. But I want to give you with a pure heart. The next part is, the next thing he's giving us to do is do vigorously, and once whatever has to be done. When you start a task, do it vigorously with full power, full potential, full action. Then you will be giving the justice to this part and to yourself also. The next point is live by rule. You have to live and abide by the rule of and law of nature. Law of the worldly thing and the law of nature. Otherwise, you will always be, whenever you defy a law, you will be having a backlash, and that backlash can be on your personality as well, in form of fear, injustice, dishonesty. So you'll be having negative traits in you. The next part he's saying is control the tongue. That part is difficult for me to control the tongue. That's what I do talk on this podcast, and sometimes I go away from the task. So control the tongue means there is another book coming up. How do we control our tongue? How do we replace the bad words from good words? So with good words, we have to replace all the bad words from our vocabulary. Let's see that, how we'll be doing this. The next last part is saying control the mind. Power of mind is not the brain. The mind is the main thing. That's what he's telling us. Now, let's see what next he's bringing to us. But these 7 rules, you have to follow them. You have to focus on them. Pinpoint them in your personality every day whenever you're availing any task or when you're sitting. He says self-discipline is the key to success. Without discipline and expecting the results, it's like a delusion in our mind. We are deluded with the concept that if we avoid discipline, meaning being lazy and not following the task in the right way, What we are doing, we are giving a delusion to ourselves. We are giving it, or living in a la la land where we'll be pretending that we are a cartoony character that will achieve everything without being disciplined. That's a wrong approach. He's saying that we should not be expecting in our life. The second part, he says, perfection should be given by giving full attention to the task one at a time. You have to give full attention to the task. You have to be very fair to the task what you are taking on. I think so that's the right word I use there, being fair with the task. When you're being fair with something or someone, you give your full attention and full power to that. And then you achieve greatness. There is nothing beyond that. There is nothing less than that you achieve then. He says idleness and strong will cannot go side by side. They cannot be existing together. So laziness is the enemy of success or your task achievement. You should not be lazy. You should not be procrastinating. That's the worst thing you can do for yourself. And that's the best thing you can do to achieve bad habits and go beyond and before and lay low to the lowest level of success. So do not procrastinate. Do not be idle. Do not be lazy. That's the worst thing you will be doing. The next part, he says, you must not gratify your passions and impulses, but rather school them. Mean you have to train them. When you say school them, school your impulses, you have to train your impulses in a positive way. You cannot be instinct, as we discussed in another chapter, that we are animalistic in nature. We cannot be animalistic. We have to learn, we have to school our desires, we have to school our instincts, we have to school our inner peace. And then what you achieve is you cannot even fathom that greatness. Once you achieve that peacefulness, that greatness, you will see the world totally differently. As I always say, we are a beast animal. He says that the beast inside the man should be scourged and tamed. That's what he says. It should be scourged and tamed. And I think that's a standard rule. And he should be, means man should be we should be living by rules, by law. He should not be living by passion or instincts. A lot of time we see about passion and instincts. No, you have to tame them. Passion is going to take you away from the law of nature. I'm not talking about the worldly law. That's a different debate. I'm talking about the law of nature. You have to instinctually intentionally control your instincts and tame them. Then you will be successful. You have to see the results and output of that. If you do not tame yourself, you will be always losing in yourself. So next part, controlling of tongue shall be there to command what you say. You should control your tongue. It should not be instinct reply, whatever you're saying. For example, I used to be like that, where I was instinctive, but with intentional practice, I have improved a lot. I have taken command of my words, what I say, and whenever I'm in a heated discussion with someone, and that happens to all of us. It is not possible not to be there in that situation. But how you react and how you perceive that situation and then make the reaction, that is down to me. But that comes with huge practice. Still, I'm working on it, getting every day better and better. So everyone can do that. If you master the art of tongue, speaking, the words, the way you do that, and how and what you should speak and what you should more best thing is what not to speak, what you should and when not to speak. That's more important than what to speak. If you specialize in this art, you will be having a lot of success. The last part in this lecture is that controlling of mind is superior of all, by which mastery of will is achieved. Your mind is controlled once, then your will is strong. What is willpower? Will comes from your mind. Your thoughts means you are schooling your mind to stay on a certain pathway, to remove certain thoughts. That's your mind. And then you continually stay on that side. That is willpower. So controlling your mind strengthens your willpower, and that derives the best result for your success. Hopefully this lecture was the best and you have achieved something better today. Let's move on to the next part. See you in the next part, podcast. Thank you very much. Take care.